Hey everybody, Teresa here from Inspiration Cards, and I'm back with our second card using the Quiet Meadow stamp set for this month's Stamp Jammies online card class. This week I'm going to use a combination of the stamp set along with the hand-penned designer series paper. So let's flip this around and get to some crafting. So this week's card is a monochromatic card using one of the designs from the hand-penned designer series paper pack. So what you're going to need for this week's card from your stack of class supplies are a long piece of basic white. So this is just half a piece of basic white cardstock cut lengthwise. And then you'll also have one piece of the hand-penned designer series paper. And then you'll have two pieces of basic white that have been cut out using the stitched rectangle dies. So to get us started, I'm just going to quickly fold this card base in half. I always like to start with that piece and then it's done and out of the way. So there's that nice crisp clean fold. Here we go. And so now we can actually flip this open and add a little something on the inside if you like. So I'm actually going to, just like last week's card, I'm going to use the two small images, the two small flower images, and line them up together on the same block. Makes it really easy to get them stamped really nice and close together. And then, right, it's one less stamp to stamp. Get it all done at the same time, a 2-for-1. All right, so just going to gently tap that on the ink pad. And then, you know what, I'm actually going to have the larger one up a little higher today. There we go. So that's done. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. Okay, and let's pull in our small stitched piece. And this actually fits the heartfelt love and caring sentiment from the stamp set really nicely. Usually I like to stamp first and then die cut. But in the interest of time, I'm going to do it the other way around today. So I'm going to just try and get that centered as best I can. There we go. Okay, and then while we let that dry, here we go. Let's pull in our other piece. And we're going to use the large bloom image. And we're just going to stamp a few just kind of randomly on our piece of cardstock here. And you don't have to worry about this corner here too much because it's actually going to be covered with the corner of our sentiment. So that makes it nice and easy to keep it at an odd number, which is what I like to do when I'm doing things like this. There we go, and one more down here. There we go. All right, so that's it for our stamping. So let's tuck that away. And while we let that dry, let's pull in our other pieces here. So there's our basic white card base and our piece of designer series paper. There we go. All right, I'm just going to grab my tape runner here. And just get that nice and sticky. So whether you use tape runner, usually I use Stamp and Seal, which I find I don't have to use near as much when I'm using the Stampin' Up! Stamp and Seal. There we go. Just get those two little frayed pieces. And that'll go right there in the center. And then of course we want our blooms to go on there first. And we're going to pop up the blooms as well as the frays using some dimensionals. Go. So I like to get all the corners, and I'm actually going to put a couple because this is a bit of a longer piece. There we go, in the center. It's always better to put a few extra dimensionals. So if you ever decide to send this in the mail, right? When it goes through those rollers, sometimes things can get pretty squished. And so if you're using extra dimensionals, then you'll still get that nice popped up effect that you're looking for. All right, so there we go. That's gonna go just a little bit higher than center. So you can see the strip along the bottom is a little bit bigger than up top. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add just a little bit of adhesive right here, because I wanna make sure it actually sticks to my piece of cardstock here. And then I'm just gonna add a couple of dimensionals on the back to finish it off. There we go. So we get that nice popped up effect, but we also make sure it's gonna be held in place properly. So that's just gonna go right there. Voila. And I felt like this card needed a little something more. So I'm actually gonna grab a few of the basic pearls. I'm gonna grab 3 and put them just down in the bottom corner, just like that. So here we go. So I'm just gonna scoop these up with my spatula end of my Take Your Pick tool. Two and 3. Like I said, I like to do things in odd numbers. Just kind of pulls your attention to them a little bit more. And it's done that way. All right. So there's this week's card. And as always, I do have another to show you featuring the stamp set. Although this one's a little bit different. So this one actually features the coordinating dies that go with the Quiet Meadow stamp set. So this I actually did using the blending brushes with Calypso Coral and I believe a little bit of Daffodil Delight to make a bit of a sunset image. And then just with basic black, I used a number of the different dies from the Meadows dies, which coordinates with the stamp set, to create this card. And then of course the phrase comes from the stamp set and is just stamped with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So there you go. I hope you liked this week's cards. I'll be back next week with our 3rd out of 4 cards for this month's Stamp Jammies class. If you want to get your hands on the class supplies for this month's class, it's only $25, and that includes shipping to anywhere in Canada. Or if you want to get the full class kit, there's still time to get in on next month's Stamp Jammies class featuring the Dahlia Days stamp set. I'm super excited to share this with you. And the full class kit is only $75, and that includes the stamp set, 1 ink pad, some designer series paper, along with all the supplies that you'll need for the 4 cards we'll be making next month. And of course, shipping to anywhere in Canada. In the meantime, if you want to check out some of my other projects, then you'll want to check me out on social, Inkspiration Cards on both Facebook and Instagram. You can also check out my blog at inkspirationcards.com. I usually share different projects and things like that a couple times a week. And of course, if you have any questions about Stampin' Up!, paper crafting, or scrapbooking in general, I'm happy to answer those questions. You can drop them in the comments below, or you can send me an email at inkspirationwiththeresa@gmail.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon.